Across the sea of stars lies another world, a world almost exactly like ours. This is where he lives. He's 27 years old, single. Across the sea of stars lies another world, a world almost exactly like ours. This is where he lives. He's 27 years old, single but searching. Favorite sports, windsurfing and Aikido. Favorite pastimes, cigars and sex. He has everything except fulfillment. Across the sea of stars lies another world, a world almost exactly like ours. This is where he lives. He's 27 years old, single but searching. Favorite sports, windsurfing and Aikido. Favorite pastimes, cigars and sex. He has everything except fulfillment. And then one night, it happens.
Hey, good buddy, are you home?
He has a very sudden midlife crisis. He lands in Cleveland.
You do know why you were sent to me?
Listen to me, small visitor. I can explain how you got here.
Maybe you're here for some greater purpose, some cosmic cause.
Here, he's forced to reassess his career goals,
You went to med school?
to explore new relationships, to redefine his self-image,
I'm sorry, we don't allow pets on the premises.
to adjust to a changing lifestyle.
All right, pull it out!
Until he discovers just who he really is.
Oh, no.
A duck in big trouble.
That's a duck, man.
Howard the Duck, trapped in a world he never made. Coming from George Lucas, a Willard Hike film, a Gloria Katz production.
Hello, this is Movie Flickers, where we flick the movies. Or they flick us, I don't know. But I'm Chris, and with me is Brandon.
Hey, what's
Hello.
going on, Vince?
So, we're going to talk about Howard the Duck. Had a 14% on Tomato Meter with a 38% on the audience score. Well, the audience seemed to like it a little bit better than the yeah.
Those just don't know whether they want to be a root or a vegetable, so it don't matter.
Yeah. So, hour and 51 minutes. Now, this film is based on a comic book character, Howard the Duck, and he's suddenly beamed from Duck World, a planet of intelligent ducks with arms and legs, to Earth, where he lands in Cleveland. There he saves rocker Beverly from thugs and forms a friendship with her. She introduces him to Phil, who works at the lab with scientist Dr. Jennings. When the doctor attempts to return Howard to his world, Jennings instead transfers an evil spirit into his own body. It's rated PG.
Yep.
Sci-fi adventure fantasy action. Directed by Willard Huddock. Produced by Gloria Katz, Robert Latham Brown. Written by Willard Huddock and Gloria Katz. And where was it streaming? I don't remember. It was... You can rent or buy it from Vudu. It's free on Peacock. That's where we watched it. Rent or buy it from Apple TV or Prime Video. But we watched it on Peacock. At least that's where I watched it at.
That's what I did.
And supposedly it's still playing on those. It had Dominic Davalos as Cal, Liz Sagal as Renette, Paul Guilfoyle as Lieutenant Welker, Tim Robbins as Phil Blumbert, Jeffrey Jones as Dr. Walter Jennings, and Leah Thompson as Beverly Switzler. And let's see, I'm trying to remember his name. Ed Gale was the main person that played Howard the Duck, I think, in most of the scenes. So Ed Gale played Howard the Duck. Now, They were trying to get kids to do it, but there was an issue with doing that, of course. So they had to do other things for it. Now you'll recognize Leah Thompson as the mom in Back to the Future. And Jeffrey Jones, which is the one that gets the evil duck or whatever into him. He played in Beetlejuice. He was the guy that moved in, the dad that moved in. The Hunt for Red October. He was in.
He's also from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah, forgot about that one. So yeah, where did it go? So now let's talk about our reviews. Because that's what people are probably listening to us for. What is our reviews of the movie?
I loved it. I love Howard the Duck. I remember it from when I was a kid. I remember watching it when I was younger, and I always liked the movie. And I think it's great.
Yeah. Now it is off a comic book character. Did you ever read any of the comic books, or?
I did after watching the show, and then going into a couple of comic book stores because I collected them. I've seen some of the comics and read them. I read a couple of them. I wasn't a big collector of it, and I didn't know it was from a comic book until after I'd already seen the movie.
Yeah. Now, I never read any of the comic books, so yeah. So I couldn't tell you nothing about it. No.
He was a detective on,
Now, when you watch the movie, you cannot go in there and expect today's CGI and everything else because, yeah, you're going to think this movie sucks. And you got to remember, they didn't have the CGI back then. In fact, there was some trivia about this later that I'll tell you about the whole CGI and everything. But you gotta watch the movie knowing it was made in the 80s. And it's fun to watch it as an adult because I watched it back then when I was a kid. And it was freaking hilarious. It was amazing. I loved it back then. I thought the soundtrack of the song Howard the Duck was awesome. I listened to it a lot. I remember that. It wasn't widely everywhere. You didn't turn on the radio all the time to hear it, but
yeah.
But watching it now as an adult, you see all the adult jokes that you didn't see when you were a kid because the adult humor of it. So it was kind of fun going back and watching it again as an adult and going, oh my goodness, they put that in there, and like they put a duck at the beginning showing the duck's breasts. They probably wouldn't allow that to be a kid movie nowadays. I guess since it was a duck, I guess.
I don't know. I really don't know. They check. They're a lot more strict on movies now than what they were. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that would.
It depends on how you define that, anyways.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd put it as a kid movie, straight up kid movie with that in there nowadays.
No, it wouldn't be.
But of course, nowadays you can find boobs in all the movies almost practically, besides the kid movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But my viewing, I really enjoyed watching it. I did go into it remembering and knowing it was a 1980s movie. And it was amazing watching it now because, like I said, seeing the adult humor of it. So, seeing as a kid was one thing, but seeing as an adult was a totally different thing for me. Now, my son watched it with me. He got bored. He couldn't sit there and watch it, and I tried to get him to sit there and watch it with me, and he'd watch a little bit of it, and yeah, he just kept getting bored. He actually went to his room and started playing. That's how bored he was getting. So, yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, he was definitely bored then.
But you can't tell a kid nowadays to remember this is a 1980s movie. You can't tell a kid that because they're going to go, huh?
Yeah.
So I liked it. There's apparently a huge cult following I've never heard about. That's what they say.
I didn't know that there was one.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So
But I'm going to tell you some trivia that I came across. According to reports at the time of the movie's release, George Lucas had just built the $50 million Skywalker Ranch complex and was counting on this film to get him back in the black. When it bombed, he was forced to start selling off assets to stay afloat. His friend, Steve Jobs, the CEO of Apple Computer, offered to help by buying Lucasfilm's newly launched CGI animation division for a price well above market value. Lucas, in dire straits and thankful for the assistance, agreed. That division eventually become Pixar Animation Studios. So that's what I was saying a while ago about the CGI. I want to tell you some trivia about that. It's kind of funny how, the CGI would have made the duck better, but he was just doing CGI.
Well, yeah,
So I thought that was kind of funny little trivia.
He had done CGI on some Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah,
But that was a major motion picture.
but
that probably had a better.
it was a lot of most of what he did in Star Wars was not CGI. There were some things, but yeah. Now, in a Twitter,
it had probably a better budget too.
yeah. In a Twitter comment, actress Leah Thompson confirmed that she still has the Les Paul guitar, Cherry Bomb, and sometimes still plays it. So that is cool that she still has the guitar she had in the movie.
Yep.
Now, and she also actually did the singing for all the songs of her character's band, and as did the other actresses in the group. On the 2009 DVD, she states that even during filming, the studio had not made a final decision as to whether to keep her singing voice or dub her. I'm glad they kept her. I thought she did a wonderful job on the song.
Me too. I think she's a really good singer. I like her.
Yeah. Following a test screening, Universal executive Sid Sheinberg and Frank Price were allegedly arguing about who was to blame for greenlighting this film, which then ended in a fist fight. So they're like, no, you greenlight it. No, you're greenlight it. Oh, yeah? Pop, 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 pop. Like, wow. Now, for her 1980s style look, Leah Thompson had to have her hair styled for about 2 hours each day. She admitted later that she was not very happy about the treatment and should have worn a wig instead. So, yeah. For just her hair took 2 hours.
Yeah, ratted it all out to make it all puffy and everything.
Yeah. Now, for all you people out there now, Howard the Duck made a second cinematic appearance in the post-credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy in 2014. Exactly 28 years and 1 day after Howard the Duck's theatrical release in 1986. Oh, there you go, 1986. Both movies are based on Marvel comic books. So, yes, I did see it, and actually I didn't. Yeah, it showed him in a spaceship. That's right.
Yeah.
And then later in Avengers Endgame, when everybody was fighting Thanos, it actually showed some ducks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody caught that, but I did. I remember it. I thought it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Now, executive producer George Lucas spent $2 million on Howard the Duck's suit, and 8 different actors worked inside the costume. According to the 2009 DVD release, a child actor was intended to be the main Howard, but didn't work out. Another actor, Ed Gale, ended up performing most of the major scenes as Howard, earning a credit at the start of the film. Now, the second consecutive financial failure for director Willie Hook, whose previous film, Best Defense, was also a box office flop. The failure of this film killed off his directing career for good, and he never made another film after this one. Wow. So that just proves in the film industry, if a film flops, it hurts bad. Some actors, it takes a while to recover from something like this. And speaking of how bad the film did, The movie was nominated for 7 Golden Raspberry Awards in 1986, including Worst Director, Willard Huyck, Worst Original Song, Howard the Duck, which I love that song, and Worst Supporting Actor, Tim Robbins. The picture won 4 Razzies for Worst New Star, The 6 Guys and Gals in a Duck Suit. Wow. Worst Visual Effects, Worst Screenplay, and Worst Picture, tied with Under the Cherry Moon.
Oh, wow.
And also, Chip Zien was cast the voice of Howard after filming was completed. During the film, puppeteer Tim Rose spoke Howard's lines through a microphone.
So, while he was in, I guess he didn't do it. Did he voice over? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, he did the voiceover after, because Tim Rose did the lines while on a microphone during filming, and then Chip Zien went in afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And more about that, in July 2021, actor Chip Zien, who voiced Howard, revealed in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter for the film's 35th anniversary that Robin Williams was originally cast for the role. But Williams quit after only a week out of frustration over syncing his voice to the Duck's animatronic Bill. An actor to voice Howard had not been cast yet during filming, so all of Howard's lines had to be read on set by the puppeteers, and the Bill moved to fit their bland delivery. That made it impossible for Williams to use his wild improvisational style in post-production because it didn't work with the Bill movements. The producers immediately called Zien, who had previously auditioned, and told him he had the part but needed to fly to California that night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You better be ready.
That might have been a totally different movie if Robin Williams would have done the voice.
It would have been probably more of a comedy-based movie, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
John Cusack and Martin Short auditioned for the role of Howard. Rob Paulson and Townsend Coleman auditioned for the voice of Howard also. Now, the movie, since its first release, has garnered a huge cult following, according to the film's DVD sleeve notes, which that's what I was saying earlier. Now, for Beverly, Paul Abdul, Kim Basinger, Jodie Benson, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Laurie Singer were all considered for the role. And then in 2011, the screen-worn Howard mask was sold on eBay for $1,525. A few weeks later, an original worn-out animatronic prop of Howard was also offered, but nobody had any interest in it. Now, there was Easter eggs all throughout the movie because that's what George Lucas likes to do. Paying homage to movies is done, like Back to the Future. Appeared when Howard and his recliner are in the sky accelerating toward the portal for a brief moment prior to his recliner igniting and bursting into flame. Familiar twin fire streaks appear behind him, just like in the movie.
Yeah.
But there was T-shirts of people who wore like a Return of the Star Wars, Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, and stuff like that. There was people wearing T-shirts all throughout the movie like that.
Yep.
So it's interesting to see that too. Now, some quotes like Howard the Duck said, "That's lit, no more Mr. Nice Duck." And Howard the Duck said, "I've got a headache," and she says, "I've got to aspirin." He said, "Be gentle," when she was trying to, do stuff. But there's a lot of quotes in here. Those are two main ones I liked. But Chip Zien, who did the voice, he was also in The Siege, and he was chief of staff. And in Snake Eyes, he was Mickey Alter. I don't know if that helps or not. So. And then the West German theatrical version was cut to secure a not under 12 rating. They probably cut the where she was in her
Oh yeah, and it
Shirt
wasn't
and
even.
panties. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in panties and a t-shirt type thing, like an overshirt.
Ooh, she is hot. Oh, anyways.
Yeah, she was.
But there was a soundtrack released. Now, one of the top reviews was a fun family film. This is an original Marvel film that is actually funny. It is not lame, laden with with what Disney thinks is funny. It's actually funny, adventurous, and cute and pathos. Howard generates more sympathy than any 2018 CGI. Not a fan of the music, but the band members are cute. That was one of the top reviews for it. And then, let's see. Some of the bad, there are a few good jokes along the way, but the final effect is that we've been here rather too many times before. Sound the horns, light the speakers, and cue the marching band because Howard the Duck is here. And bad movie historians could not ask for a more maladroit venture than this. So, that was two of the top critics, what they said. So, yeah. A lot of people hated it, a lot of people loved it, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got mixed reviews.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely got mixed reviews for sure.
I like it, and I think it has rewatch value for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's one that you would watch a lot of.
No.
Or even once a year, but every once in a while, just to remember back when you were a kid in the 80s, I'd watch it. So. All right, now, next week. What are we watching next week, Brandon? Or I'm sorry, we'll cut all that out. All right, next time. What are we going to watch next time, Brandon?
We are going to watch The Green Lantern.
The Green Lantern. The Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yes.
It's because it's not The Green Lantern, it's just Green Lantern.
Oh, it's on Disney. Disney. That's what it's on. Disney Plus.
Well, it's on Netflix with subscription. What is that? Oh, HBO Max. Is it also on Disney?
Oh yeah, it's a Marvel movie.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's on Disney under the Marvel movie.
So y'all can watch it and hopefully catch it with us. So watch it, and then next time we'll be flicking that movie. So, would you flick out the Howard the Duck?
No, not at all.
You would keep
It's a
it in your
great
DVD
movie.
collection?
Yeah, I keep it in my collection for sure.
No, I looked, and it's not on. Green Lantern is not on Disney. It's only on Netflix and HBO Max if you got a subscription on anywhere. So all right, well until next time, enjoy watching the movie.
As always.